Fairy in a Bottle. Once upon a time, there was a couple named Mario and Marian. They lived in the middle of Turad Forest. Mario is a loving husband. He always took care of Marion's need. He also find the food inside the forest like wild boar, birds, fish, and also different fruits from the trees. While Marion is staying at home doing only house chores. One day Mario decided to walk around the forest so that he can find a food to eat. He got a one whole wild boar and he went home with a smile on his face. Finally, I can go home now, he said. A few minutes passed. He is near from the house. He saw his wife waving. Finally, I can eat now, Marion said. On the few days Mario are capable to bring food after he walks and hunt inside the forest, until one day he can't find any food around the forest. He didn't know that there is a fairy in a old bottle that observing him every day when he kill and hunt animals just for food. Mario went home without any food. Honey, I'm home, he said. Oh, you're early today, Marian replies. After realizing that her husband didn't get any food from the forest, she suddenly changed her mood and the way he talked to Mario. I'm so hungry. You went home without any food, she angrily said. After that small argument, Mario went back to the forest with his rifle so that if he saw animals that can be served as food, he will shoot it so that his wife will able to eat and won't be angry anymore. An hours ago, he really couldn't find anything and he is tired of walking. He lay down under the tree and fall asleep because of tiredness. A few minutes, when he is sleeping, he heard a voice saying that, Help, I'm here in the battle. He suddenly wake up. After he heard that voice, he looked around and didn't see people around except an old bottle. He grabbed it and see what's inside. He didn't see anything. He think that he throw it because it's useless bottle. But suddenly, he heard a voice again from the bottle. He scratched it with his two hands. A little fairy come out from the bottle. Mario was shocked on what he see. I am dear dreaming, he said. The fairy talked. You, I've seen all your bad doings. You kill plenty of animals in the forest, and now you can't see any of them. Mario talked back on the fairy. He say, I'm sorry, little fairy. My wife and I need food to survive. Mario didn't know that after he released the fairy from the battle, he can get three wishes. The fairy was punished by her father Marvin. Marvin is the king of the fairies. He punished Kaina the fairy because of her bad doings. She always took back and didn't respect other fairies. So, her father decided to lock her in the battle, and whoever scratched the battle and make Chicano release it, in exchange, she or he will get a three wishes. Because you release me, you can get three wishes, Chicano said. Mario was so happy, but he can't think of wishes. He need his wife to decide, so he decided to go back home. Why don't you have any food? I'm starving, his wife said. Mario tell everything that happened. A fairy that offer you three big wishes, Marian said. Marian ordered that Mario have to go back in the forest where he saw a fairy and get their first wish. Marian's first wish is want to have a beautiful house that has delicious foods. Mario hurried back to the forest and called the fairy. Fairy Chikaina, where are you? He said three times. The fairy appears on his front. Yes, Mario. Have you decided your first big wish? Yes, I've decided my first wish. My wife want to have a beautiful house and lot of delicious foods. Mario said, Your wish is my command. After the fairy grant Mario's wish, she said, Go back home, you already have it. Mario hurried to go home and sees that their house was beautiful outside and inside, and what make him happy is to see his wife happy with delicious foods. After get his first wish, Mario think to decide and make the second wish. After that, he hurried to visit again the fairies all along the castle, and he caught up with the fairy who was cooking for her father. The king and the fairies were surprised because of Mario's strong push on the door. The fairy screamed, "And it's you, Mario. What can I help on you?" The fairy said. And he said his second wish that he could keep his family away from pain and be sure that nothing will be lost from what they have. And the fairy thought and said, "Before I fulfill your request, make sure you don't do bad things." And it's something to be told about doing good, and fairy has fulfilled Mario's second wish. And the days have gone by as if Mario is thinking about using the last chance to make a request to the fairy, and suddenly thought, what if I ask for something that will make my family happy so they can buy what they want? Mario reluctantly went to the fairy's castle to use the last given wish by the fairy. But unfortunately, he was unable to see the fairy. Mario went home sadly and decided to come back another day. And Mario returned to the fairy's house a few days later to make a wish and the last chance, and then he saw the fairy doing something, and Mario just said, "Thank you for seeing me." And she said, "Mario, because you have been kind and follow everything I said, I give you what you want." The fairy immediately granted Mario's wish. I could see that Mario is very happy because of that. Mario thanked a lot because of that reward. Mario immediately went home and cooked a delicious dinner for his wife and parted happily.